What's the crack, everybody? I listen to the Discus Laria Collective podcast. I'm Warren here with Glenn, and yeah, we're gonna do just chat about John Cena, a topic of discussion that's kind of split people like ass cheeks right now, right down the
5:45
middle.
rise,
Yeah.
15 minutes to moisturize. Man takes care of his skin.
Oh Jesus,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And
I've watched
he,
his routine.
yeah, it's a pure target market there, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So John Cena, obviously a legend of the game nowadays. I love him. I think he's great. Hated him for years. Typical, I suppose, typical wrestling fan. Fickle, fickle in the words of Daniel Bryan. But yeah,
Yeah, the only man other than Bob Backlund whose heel turn was just to stay face.
pretty much,
Even then,
yeah,
Bob Backlund actually turned heel.
yeah.
So,
But yeah, we're just gonna chat about John Cena, and the real question is, should he be in the title picture right now? Obviously he's been off the TV for I think it's a year, over a year, something like that.
since Mania the year before, where he did the
Oh
match
my God, the
against Bray
Firefly
Wyatt, and
Funhouse.
yeah, where he lost to Bray Wyatt against himself.
Yeah,
Which was supposed to signify some type of big dramatic shift, and obviously he's off the telly since then.
yeah, Jesus, I forgot about that. I'm not gonna lie. So, yeah, over a year, so
Yeah,
yeah, year and a half or something like that. So yeah, John Cena back in the mix, fresh haircut. I'm looking forward to seeing what's gonna go on, but that question, yeah, should he be in the title picture? He's at that level now. We were just saying it before we came on, where he can put over talent all over the card, whether it's open a match, main event, this, that, and the other. I get it, but and he's going to be a big merch mover again. We were just discussing that as well. Like, who is selling the t-shirts right now? You don't really have a
yeah.
massive face. So yeah, it's kind of splitting hairs a bit. I'll ask your opinion on it, Glenn, first, because I kind of know mine, and I'll just rattle mine off in a bit. But what's your opinion on it? Do you think he should be in the title picture? Just give us a yes or
So
no to that part, and then go on. Then, do you know what I mean? Or can you give a
you
yes or
never
no?
you never show your hand, Warren. I'll give you my answer more toward the later part. I'll start with some negative points to take home. Let's start with some smarkiness, right? So this is the marking. John Cena in the main event. Sure, he could just be doing the US Open challenge, or I am the legend John Cena, come and try to beat me type of thing, etc. etc. Oh, we should have had a return and John Cena become a heel. That makes the Firefly Funhouse match seem almost pointless, etc. etc. Um, Look, the state of WWE right now is probably in the best from a ladder climbing newcomer, etc. perspective that you could get in the last decade. I mean, the last time we seen the scape look like this was literally this time 10 years ago when John Cena was ruling the roost. Um, he beat The Miz for the title. The Miz had main event at Mania. The Rock had just come back, but it was only doing those kind of over the year promotions. And the only other player that was big enough in the game at that time who was going to be in the title picture that you wanted to see was CM Punk. Um, Huge amount of contrast to today, except there isn't as many main eventers. 10 years ago, we had, you know, the cusp of Jericho return. We still had Taker and Kane semi-active every now and again. Triple H was still in the picture. Um, you had all these other legacy stars, right? So fast forward 10 years, you have a very, very small handful of guys who are on the roster from back then now,
Yeah,
who are still healthy and competitive and stuff. And these guys, I think you forget, a lot of our favorites were in their 50s or approaching their 50s 10 years ago. So this makes really perfect sense for someone like Cena. But I want to hear more on your thoughts because I do have a bit of an ace up my sleeve. So go on.
yeah. I don't think he should be in the title picture. Don't get me wrong. I'm actually looking forward to Reigns and Cena, and I think it's that cool challenge for Reigns as well, because obviously it looks like no one can take that title on him. It literally looks like it. He's beating everyone, so it does kind of make sense, I suppose, if you're looking at like, oh, Reigns could beat Cena, and then it could almost be like a retirement for Cena. But at the same time, though, that's I honestly can't see that happening. I can't see Reigns beating him and Cena just going off into the sunset after coming back 3 weeks before or 4 weeks before. It doesn't. That's not what they'll do with John Cena. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
And on the other hand, John Cena to come back and beat Reigns in his first go around again, that doesn't really make sense either. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, you have like the Usos and stuff, kind of that kind of them moving parts there. So, but no, I don't think he should be. I think he should have came back and like put over other talent, and not just in it like, oh, I'm John Cena, I'm back, and then oh yeah, I'm gonna fight somebody down like the pecking order. I think the likes of the way Karrion Kross debuted, he like John Cena would have been the perfect target for Karrion Kross. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like he was very well protected on NXT, as we said. Comes up, loses to Jeff Hardy, who's a face, by cheating. So it was just like a bit odd. I think it would have been cool if Cena was back and he was like, "Oh, how's it going? Feels great to be home." Carrying Cross music hits. He should still have Scarlett with him, which is very strange because she's not on the main roster with him. That cool entrance, yeah, it's just so strange. It doesn't feel right.
We're getting a diluted version of the guy that we like, and it feels like we're being intentionally shoehorned into not liking the guy.
Yeah,
like what happened with Baron Corbin and a handful of other stars. It's frustrating. I imagine it's frustrating being a wrestler who is deemed worthy of main roster, and then you lose a lot of your credentials.
Yeah, and it feels to me, right, and this is honestly a weird comparison that I'm going to throw out to you, but I don't know why it's in my head. So Scarlett, Bordeaux, and Karrion Kross, they're one and the same to me. I think she brings an extra bit of like a layer to his character, or a bit of a lore to that entrance and that character, right? I think he's fairly bland.
Lore. We're all about that juicy lore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that, and he feels a bit bland without it, right? And then switch over, go back to say 2002 in the first WWE draft.
Okay. I actually knew you were going to say this. Go on.
This feels like the Dudley Boys being separated. It feels like I'm watching like Bubba Ray Dudley right now. This is what it feels like. And Scarlett could be the Devon, or you could switch either role. I don't really even care, but it feels like they're lacking something. So Scarlett, like, she could be a star in her own, don't get me wrong, but I feel like she's deadly with Karrion Kross, and NXT, that entrance, that even makes him more likable as well. I'd be like, because I don't really think he has a particularly great moveset. I don't think he looks as polished in the ring as a lot of people. He's a bit of a hostile. He's
a bit. No, I wouldn't even say he's big, but he's an above average heavy hitter who can move with speed and has a lot of intensity. He's Austin. He reminds me of Austin, and I think maybe that's what Vince has a hard on for him is to send him on that path. Yeah. But even his moveset, like Austin's moveset, wasn't terribly complex either. Like you had the odd suplex spine buster, a German hair there, the Lutez press, the stomps in the corner, all the intensity, and that's mirrored very heavily in Cross's arsenal as well. Like moveset wise, they're about that intense fucking slaps, and that's his thing. And I think he plays it well to himself. But like that, I think a lot of his character development was made on having a tandem with Scarlett. Like we talk about perfect parents, like I actually had a completely different separation there. Although the theatrics aren't there behind it, it was Miss Elizabeth and Macho Man for me.
You could get that. Yeah, actually, I can agree with that as well. Yeah, I can. That's what it could be. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they continue that on the main roster, I feel like it could get to that level almost, which would be very weird because this man doesn't really talk. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Macho couldn't keep his mouth shut. Which is funny because Scarlett does a lot of his talking, whereas Elizabeth wouldn't say a word for Macho. So it's kind of cool. Like,
so there's contrast. Like I said, there's not. It's not similarities per se. It's more like different kind of sides of the same coin in a way. Like,
yeah, pretty cool. Good shout though. But I do get that move.
Cena though.
Yeah, I get that move.
I wanted.
That moves though. That moves that shout with Kross and Austin though. That's actually a good shout. As you said it, I was like, yeah, Austin had like a handful of moves and they're very hard hitting, and Kross does have that, and he has kind of like a judo little background thing going on as well. So it's kind of cool. Never thought of it. But yeah, Cena in the main event.
Focus on Kross after a while. Cena in the main event picture. You wanted to know whether or not I think he deserves it, and you said no.
Yeah.
And me and you agree on quite a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Yes, he should be in the main event title picture. In fact, if he loses one, he should be going for the other. Oof. This is where we should, if we're gonna play the booker and not the businessman for a second, if we're gonna play the booker, have him lose the reins, right? Have him lose heavily. Have him come out and acknowledge Reigns, and then have Reigns get fucking, I don't know, hopped on. Or you don't even have to say it's someone else. Say it's Balor coming out and Reigns is about to hop on Balor. And then you have Cena torn heel to acknowledge Reigns. And he says to him, right, it's a bit fantasy booking now, but the only thing that would make make this, and he says this referring to a ring full of Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns and the Usos, and he goes, the only thing that would make this stronger is more of that, and he points towards the belt. So everyone immediately thinks he's going to go after SmackDown's, the second tier belt, and he's going to pull a US Open challenge and all that. And no, he attacks Lashley on Raw, and he immediately goes after that belt. Yeah. He immediately goes after the belt, and he says, "Can I rely on you? You know, I've looked out for you. I've scratched your back now. It's time for you to scratch mine." And make it about him beating Ric Flair's
record.
Record. Make it about him protecting his status, and make it the inverse of what everyone's, because people love a bit of subverted expectations now. You look at Game of Thrones, you look at a load of different things, you look at surprises, returns, and all that. And it's the one thing we've never got from Cena, technically speaking, since his face torn, 16 odd years ago. And it would also be the one thing that would give him the refresh that he needs. He lost the 4 for Life Funhouse match. He didn't react to it coming back. But let this be the thing. Let the final run at the big boy belts. And whether you do the heel turn and you have him, go after Lashley's belt and you have, the big belts being held by these big stars and it eventually combusts and you have one major face and one major heel or whatever, go after each other, that's fine. Or if you just want to keep him as a face and you want them to take the belt off Reigns, hear me out on this one, right?
Yeah.
The longevity of superstars and wrestlers has gotten far longer, but the expectations of them and their movesets has gotten far bigger. Would that be correct?
Yeah, I suppose in movesets and stuff, I totally get that. Yeah, I think though
in terms of like stars, like someone in their 40s, nearly 50s, in 1970 wasn't able to do half the shit that a guy in 2021 is at the same age.
Right? Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah.
So you said something there that hits nail on the head. John Cena shouldn't be in the main event picture. He's too big. He should have come back and put over other stars like Karrion Kross and etc. Right? And I fundamentally agree with that. I think that should always be the thing, that the returning guy should never get the one up on it. But the businessman now talks instead of the booker.
Yeah.
It makes money. It makes very, very good money.
Yeah.
Now, here's where what I'm saying is going to make even more sense, right? 2003, a month after he won the belt, who took the belt off Triple H? A man in his, the early 40s, late 30s?
Goldberg?
No. Who took the belt off Triple H a month after he won it in 2002? Sorry.
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. Hulk Hogan was cheered for that. He wasn't booed. He was pure face.
Yeah.
Right? After having not really a reign of any terror of any superstar. We had heel Jericho lose against the face Triple H, and then face Triple H against face Hogan. But naturally, the crowd dictated who they wanted to win, right? And we've had a year of no fans. We've had a year of no merch movers. We've had a tough year as wrestling fans. Recycled content on Raw. SmackDown is knocking it out of the park, right? And if you want to get that belt off of Reigns and start a chain of events that's going to lead to multiple champions over the next year, instead of one ridiculously long reign like we got with Brock Lesnar with the Universal title, who else?
Yeah.
If not, who else? Right? Reigns was at the top of the mountain. He beat Bray Wyatt for the belt. He defended it against Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. He's beaten Kevin Owens. He's beaten his cousins. He's beaten everyone. He maybe he hasn't beaten everyone, but he's beaten everyone who's relevant. Well. He's beaten Edge and Bryan on the same night. He as far as where he's at in his career versus Cena, this might not be Cena's last run, but propose the question that it is. Would you want it to be like 2002 Hogan when Cena is still fit as a fiddle and can keep going and can keep that and keep the money moving up and keep the merch going? Or do you want it to be another 5 or 10 years when he's even worse and even slower? Like he's a limited moveset as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's never really thought about that.
I look at that and I think of this. If you're not going to bring Lesnar back and you're not going to have some big up and coming, well built monster over the next 10 months to WrestleMania, it's to be seen. Because if it's not, and you keep getting Reigns didn't work the first time because of static fail.
Yeah.
Reigns can only keep working if he has something to go for. He's at the top of the mountain right now.
Yeah.
And we know from history's told us this, that championship changes, subverted expectations, whether that's heels and faces or consistency with it and no turns, is what is going to give you an avenue to build other stars. Now, the second point that you made, and this is it, I swear I'm not going to continue rambling because you'll see the writings on the wall with the second point. Cena should come back and he should be putting over other stars and all that. He's already done that. If Martin, this is the only time to pull the trigger on Cena earning his way because of his legacy, like Hogan did, back into a title picture because he's already paid his dues. Think about the last 5 years. People forget. Owens beat him on his opening night. He was going to lose other than the injury to Sami Zayn for the US title when Bret Hart brought Sami Zayn out. Every other major NXT push superstar that's come out and faced Cena has beaten him. Cena lost very, very cleanly to The Undertaker. He redeemed his win over Wyatt with a loss to him at Mania. I think the last time he properly won a main feud was against The Miz when he proposed Nikki Bella.
Yeah. That's the Mania we were
I can't remember the last time he's won a major match. He lost against Reigns in their go home feud as a torture classing moment. So far Reigns actually has won over Cena. So
yeah.
Take that what you will, my friend. Yeah. But this is the platform to get that universal belt off of Reigns in a believable way and onto someone who can and will actually put someone else over, because Cena's time is actually past, much in the same way Hogan's was.
Yeah.
Who did Hogan lose the belt to?
Taker.
And when you look down that chain of commands of where it ended up on Lesnar. And we got Lesnar angled, and we got Lesnar and Guerrero.
True.
So
we're going to get Cena Lesnar.
We're going to get Cena Lesnar 4.
Yeah. No, it's a good point, though. I never really thought of it like that. But yeah, it's some valid points, definitely. I was just thinking, like, from a selfish point of view, I was thinking, right, the way Balor kind of injected himself into this feud, I was like, I'd love to see Finn Balor and Roman Reigns just tear the house down, because Reigns is work rate lately is rapid. He's so good lately, and he's more, every time you see him, he's more and more polished and comfortable in the ring. Like, obviously when he was Shield Roman and he was like always face in that weird time where he's getting booed for 3 years and shit, he felt like he had to go by the book. Now he feels like, even his promo, you know, he's saying about missionary and this, that, and that was just gas. Like, but from a selfish standpoint, I would have liked to see Balor and Roman, and yeah, Balor probably would have lost. It wouldn't have made sense for Balor to win. I get that. But I just wanted to see a nice 20-minute, 25-minute match between them two. And I would rather see Cena and Lashley, big meaty men, slapping me. That's what I would like to see.
Oh, yeah.
But again, it could come full circle, and we might see that down the line anyway, do you know what I mean? But I do like your thing better now when you say it like that. It does make sense. Cena's the only one who could properly take that belt off Reigns. Like,
yeah. Plus, I mean, look, if I'm being really selfish myself, and I go back to the smartiness, what do I really want, right? I don't want Cena and Lashley. That's going to be a dull as fuck match. Yeah. You know who I wouldn't mind seeing fight for, faction or whatever? Reigns and Lashley. And you know who really wins that match?
The fans.
No. Fuck the fans. Fans can go and eat my ass. You know who really wins the match between Reigns and Lashley, when you have a question mark over who's competing for the belt on SmackDown?
No.
The real winner of that match is Big E. And the match I'm looking forward to, the match that I want to see an anniversary of, is Cena Edge. Yeah. Probably my favourite feud of the mid-2000s.
That's great feud.
Michael's Taker. So one last go home for these boys before they go and pass their torches on to the next opportunist in probably Rollins, or onto the next face that runs the place. You know, like, we have stars that are waiting in the back of the chamber right now. They're like the bottom bullet in a magazine, waiting to be shot. You've your Biggies, you've your AJ Styles waiting in lieu as well. And you've got all the work that they've been doing. Raw basically relied on Riddle and fucking Thing and Orton for like weeks, even though they were a tag team who weren't the champions. Like, you know, as far as where they're going to take things, now you can do your draft shuffle post the little plan we have, where Cena beats Reigns, say, and then you've got your Reigns, or you've got your Cena Edge feud. You do your draft shuffle, and you swap McIntyre onto SmackDown, and you get Reigns and his crew over to Raw. Reigns can run supreme on Raw and bring some viewership over there and continue the great work that he's been doing. SmackDown is a builder brand. SmackDown has always been the builder brand. It's always been where people get the name to make for themselves and then fuck off to Raw and rule supreme for a little while. Yeah. And we saw AJ Styles do that in 2016-17, and like, Cena hasn't been in the picture and he hasn't been relevant enough to be in the picture. This is the last time for me. Like if in 3 to 5 years time we're seeing Cena in the main event against Balor or something, I'm not gonna have an interest in it. But if you do it now and you do it right, you will get some golden matches. You can have Edge take the belt off Cena, which is believable. Then you have Rollins take the belt off him, which is very believable. Then you have fucking Balor take the belt off him. You know, you can come full circle with a lot of these transitions, but it's very unbelievable to say immediately stick Rollins or immediately stick Balor in that. We're not going to pull a Jinder Mahal here. We need careful planning. And the minute Reigns is off of SmackDown, it opens up the field because Reigns does have a chokehold on it. Having a chokehold on a brand can be good when you're a selfish fan like you are. And I feel the very same way, so don't get me wrong. But as a business person, where do I want my money to start coming from? Where do I want that money to start generating from? And look at what worked. The plan that I laid out loosely would work. And if you look at that from the landscape that we have it now with the likes of Karrion Kross coming up and getting beat by Jeff Hardy and Pete Lee returning, you know, we've had a lot of vacancies. We've had a lot of people go in the last 12 to 18 months. Like a lot of people aren't there to fill even the dimmest spotlight. So when you don't have Daniel Bryan and your Braun Strowmans are gone off, you have to start filling shoes. You have to start it. And when half of your elite stars, like your Ortons and your AJ Styles, are in the tag team division because that was lackluster before they entered it, who else is there? We have to start making the Tetris pieces fit and start clearing lines, because otherwise it's just going to be full of shit.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents, anyway.
Right, Glenn McMahon, take a breather there, pal. Absolutely running the business into the ground, and I'm joking with you. There's pretty
edit me out, man. Just edit me out.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good points. I think Braun Strowman might return soon enough. I think it's looking like that. It's looking like they might be pulling him back in, I'd say. And
putting him off more like
crank and hog. And then the likes of like Edge, and there's a few of that kind of like Edge and Rollins that they're gonna have a banger of a match out straight. Like, so there is as you said, a few kind of bullets there waiting. Like, so I'm looking forward to like post SummerSlam, I suppose you could say, just to see what gets built and what gets moved around, because the draft is after SummerSlam as well. Now, the past, I think, 6 drafts in WWE was like, oh, well, we have this person who's on both shows, and then we have this person who's exclusively on SmackDown, and Goldberg, he doesn't work for us. And then the next week, oh my God, there's Goldberg. What the fuck's going on? It's just the drafts are awful nowadays. But as I said, go back to 2002, the Dudley Boys getting split up. I still get a bit choked up thinking about it. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But we'll jump back on, and like we'll be chatting about SummerSlam. We'll do predictions and stuff for that over the next few days, few weeks, over stuff like that. But so you won't go too in depth on that. But yeah, SummerSlam's always deadly for me. Even if it's a shit event, it just feels deadly. Do you know what I mean? And the fact that fans are back now,
I think this is where they're going to pull out all the stops. Personally, I think this is where a lot of the foundations for the next few months are going to be laid. Usually, I think the lack of fans has been a blessing more than a curse, because now it's been giving them time to wait to pull the trigger on things.
Yeah,
having recycled content on Raw sucked.
Yeah,
but what's to come now? They can't afford to make it shit.
No, they can't. Yeah, because people are kind of, like, obviously they're wired to it now at this stage. You know what I mean? And they just physically won't tune in now. If it gets to that stage, we're like, why would I bother? And you have alternatives with the likes of AEW. So
there's an alternative, yeah.
Yeah. So right, we'll call it a day on this then, because we've fucking rambled on. Here I was thinking, 10 minutes, yeah, and then I realized, hang on, looking at the schedule, Glenn Armstrong is on this podcast.
Don't try and drag me down. Chap was like, oh wait, he's on the podcast, but he hasn't been on it for 2 months.
Yeah, it's like he's been locked up. It's like Hannibal Lecter coming out with the thing.
I've pent up fucking wrestling words.
Rage.
Yeah. Marks. Fans.
Pop.
Fake.
Right, yeah, but we'll call it a day there. We'll jump back on obviously over the next few days, do some other bits now. But yeah, but before we go, just want to say thanks very much for listening or for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you are watching it on YouTube, drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Really helps us out, as every YouTuber says. But now, yeah, I just want to see that subscriber count go whoop. Yes.
And make sure to kiss the subscribe button and gently caress the like button.
Yeah, I don't want to hear no clicks, no presses. I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. I'm not sure if that sounded like a kiss to you, but it kind of sounded like me microphone cut out. So yeah,
that sounded like a lovely kiss.
Oh, juicy.
Wish it was right here.
Yeah. Right then. Yeah, on Instagram. On Instagram, yeah, Discus Lariat Collective. On Twitter, the Discus Lariat. Yeah, give us a follow over there. Shoot us a message, let us know if you think this is cool. Or if you want to like some posts. I'm doing a 30 days of SummerSlam thing over there. So just showing some pictures of my favorite SummerSlam things. So yeah.
Clip, dude, that's not PG.
Showing clips.
You sound when you initially said the word clips, you said clip.
All
It
right,
sounded like you're
I'm
saying
throwing this off. I'm
clip.
throwing this off. No, right. I'm breaking a sweat. I can smell me dinner cooking downstairs as well. Right on. So until next time, see you soon. Enjoy.